Hello and welcome to episode 3 of Callum the Biologist with me, Callum, a National Fire Biologist in the Highlands of Scotland. In today's episode, we are going to be speaking about DNA and the production of proteins, speaking about messenger RNA and genes. Today, our I can statements are going to be: I can describe the structure of DNA and by using keywords. I'm going to be able to name the 4 bases in DNA and state how they're paired. I can define the phrase gene. I can state the job of messenger RNA and explain how this works using keywords. And I can state where protein synthesis happens. We're going to begin today's episode by having a wee look at our keywords, our word bank. So on the left, we've got a selection of words that you're going to need for today's episode. So we've first of all got DNA, which is the molecule that is found in all life on Earth. And DNA is built up by our second factor, which is genetic code. And this is the sequence of bases on a DNA molecule that is different for all living things. We all have a separate genetic code. Each DNA molecule is composed of 2 strands, which is double-stranded, which is also known as the double helix, which a helix is the twisted shape of the DNA molecule. Complementary is a word that we're going to be using in today's episode, and we're going to be speaking about DNA base pairs, and this means that only A matches with T and C matches with G. A base for the base pair is the part of DNA that forms the genetic code. A gene is the section of DNA that codes for a protein. Messenger RNA is a molecule which carries a complementary copy of the genetic code from DNA in the nucleus to ribosomes, and then the ribosome is the site of protein synthesis in cells. DNA and the production of proteins then. DNA is a special molecule that is found in practically almost every cell. It is made up of a sequence of 4 bases. This sequence is different between all living things on Earth. So my family, we all have different DNA complementary bases. We all have a separate genetic code which is complementary to others. DNA coils up to form chromosomes, and these chromosomes are located in the nucleus of the plant, animal, and fungal cells. In the last episode, or the first episode, we have learned all about the bacteria, fungal, animal, and plant cells, and we know that a nucleus is only present in the first 3, plant, animal, and fungal. Bacteria only have a single-stranded helix, so it's only one single circular chromosome and plasmid. The twisted shape of DNA is called a double helix, and this is a double because DNA is made of 2 strands, and this is linked by the base pairs which make up the structure of DNA. The base pairs are complementary to each other, and this means that A is always paired with T, and G is always paired with C. A way that I remember this is at for A, the for T, G for golf, and C for club, and that together forms at the golf club, and that's how I remember that A is paired with T, G is paired with C. Always, it doesn't matter if you put T and A or C and G, as long as you're not putting G and T, A or C and A, G and T. And this here is a little example of that. This photo So proteins are made from amino acids, and this takes place at the ribosome in the cytoplasm. And the shape of the protein depends on the sequence of amino acids. The sequence of the amino acid is determined by the base sequence of the DNA. But if the DNA is in the nucleus and the protein is made at the ribosome, how does the cell know Which amino acid goes where? Well, this is where messenger RNA takes place. mRNA is the protein production which takes place in two stages. The first stage is a complementary copy of the part of the DNA or gene or genetic code of the DNA used is made in the nucleus. This is called messenger RNA. The messenger RNA travels to a ribosome to determine the order of amino acids used in stage 2. But if we're speaking about messenger RNA, we're going to need to have a bit of a clear understanding on what a gene is. And a gene, well, this photo here is the stages. So we see at the top, stage 1, our strand, the complementary strand, is taken from the DNA and it's making its way into the nucleus, which is the black dot on stage 2. And then in stage 2, we can see that the messenger RNA is traveling to the ribosome to determine the order of amino acids. A gene is a section of the DNA that codes for protein. If there is a problem with the gene, then the protein may be wrong, it may be the wrong shape and might not work properly, or it may not be made at all. And this little photograph just has a little understanding of the first issue. So gene might not be working very well, and the second strand indicates that it's not working at all. Okay, so we've got the gene and the chromosomes. This is going to conclude this episode, and to round off, we've got a little cheeky quiz. 4 questions. Take yourself a little 30 seconds, pause this video and have a think. Number 1. What is a gene? Last thing we've just discussed. Describe DNA and how it differs from person to person. What does the M stand for in mRNA? And describe the second process of protein production. Take 30 seconds, pause this video, and we can resume in just a second. This video is going to pause for 13 seconds. Let's take a look at the answers then. What is a gene? A gene is a section of the DNA that codes for protein. Describe DNA and how it differs from person to person. Well, DNA is the special molecule that is located in every cell. This is a genetic code that we all use. What does the M stand for in mRNA? And that is messenger. Because it's taking a carbon copy and it is transferring it on to something else, and in our case it's the ribosome. Describe the second process of protein production. Well, the messenger RNA travels to the ribosome and this determines the order of amino acids. Thank you for taking part in today's episode. Hope this has been very beneficial to you all. In the next episode, we're going to be speaking about the messenger RNA COVID-19 vaccines for SARS. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this episode. Take care, and I'll see you in episode 4. Thank you.